FXR ClubMX rider Garrett Marchbanks on the line. Garrett, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, just chilling.
Yeah, back in you're in Utah, correct?
Yeah, I'm out here at my parents' place, just recovering.
Yeah, no, I we'll get to the injury here in just a second that you sustained a little while back. That's unfortunate, but FXR, man, you've been wearing FXR for a couple of years now with the ClubMX Yamaha team, and what's one of the best features out of FXR that you love the most?
Honestly, just the fit. Everything's super stretchy but fits tight. I don't know, it's just super ventilated, super comfy. I know some of the sets, it doesn't even feel like heck you're wearing it. So, I don't know, super comfy set. Probably one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And, me and my girlfriend, drove the trip up to Redbud and saw you. And one of the things is, man, I told you even over text that you were the underdog, in my opinion, coming out of the outdoor season. There was a couple races that weren't so good, but a majority of the time you were right there around the top 10 in your 450, pretty much professional start in the outdoor series. So how did that actually go for you? How'd you feel after the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross season?
Honestly, I wasn't too impressed with it, just how I rode. I had a pretty rough season, honestly.
Yeah.
It just felt like the whole season was just so up and down, dealing with sicknesses, and then at Salt Lake, I messed my shoulder up pretty good, tore the back of my labrum, and then only had one day on the bike on the 450, and then went straight to the Paula. And honestly, it was just kind of just sending it, honestly. I hate saying that, but it was just kind of seeing how I could do. And, yeah, I had some good races. I had one good moto at Paula, a couple at Denver and Redbud, but I'd say after I want to say Southwick, when I hit my head pretty good, it just kind of went downhill and got really sick at Budds Creek and dealt with some just little issues. We found out I got COVID again at Budds, and it just kind of depleted my body, and so that was kind of why I had to pull out of the last two rounds, was just due to sickness.
Yeah, no, and there's so many things that goes on with racing that people don't know behind the scenes, and you professional riders love to hide it and still go out there and put on performances. And like I said, we were there at Redbud, and you put on a hell of a performance there with a top 10 there, and there was other ones that you did, and unfortunately you're going back to the 250 for not unfortunately, but you're going back to the 250 for Supercross again, and you planned on doing West, right, before you got injured?
Yeah, West was honestly at first we weren't sure, just because of how many times I was getting sick, and I just felt like I was super far behind, and it just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed like things weren't going right, and I felt like I wasn't 100% on the dirt bike either all this year, and that was kind of my goal going into it, was just getting 100%, if it meant, taking a month off, 2 months off, just so when I come back, I'm 100%.
Right.
And I took the whole month off after outdoors. I think I touched the dirt bike once, just to ride with some kids I trained.
Right.
And came back the best I ever felt, honestly. I'd say that was the most fresh and ready to go I felt since 2020, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just firing on all the cylinders. So yeah, it's like after I think week 1 or 2, the team was like, "Well, you're going West no matter what." So.
Yeah.
I felt like I was riding good. Like I said, I don't like bringing up past, but 2020 obviously was my best year. I had a win and a podium in Salt Lake, and
right.
That's when I felt like I was really gelling on the bike, and my endurance was good, and I was in great shape, and just everything was perfect. And yeah, that's how I felt until I had a little mishap in practice.
Yeah, and if you want to walk us through for the listeners that don't know what the injury is right now that you're going through, go ahead and let the listeners know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like throwing anyone under the bus. We just had not mechanical, but just a technical issue. It just happens to everyone. We've seen it this off season to a couple guys, and yeah, we had the issue off the finish line. It was a pretty big double, fell into the face of it, and found out I dislocated my wrist and broke the radius in 2 spots. And Went to the first doctor. They didn't notice some things. He misplaced the screw, so I had to go to another surgery in California and go get it all fixed, snapped back in place, and plated. So I have about or not even plated, but I have about a 6-inch long plate on my hand to hold it all in. And yeah, it's been a recovery so far. Just trying to do as much rehab as I can, and this thing's pretty much as stiff as a 2x4. Can't really do much with it at the moment. So besides move my fingers.
Yeah, no, and that sucks too, especially when, you know, and in this sport, man, sometimes it knocks you down, and sometimes those knocks are hard. But maybe in this situation, like what you were talking about beforehand, is maybe you needed, you know, that little extra rest, even though that it does suck and you're having to go through an injury once again, and it kind of maybe almost seems like 2022 was completely awful. But maybe this is you know, a good thing for you moving into 2023. Give your body a little bit more rest and kind of, you know, come out firing for 2023. When do you plan on actually, or, you know, when are you able to get back on the bike?
It's unknown at the moment. I mean, I'd love to be back for East Coast round 1. I'm not sure how possible that is.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are hoping for me to be back, but I don't want to go back at 60, 70%. I want to be back at least 90 to 100.
Right.
But yeah, no, the downtime's been, the good thing is I got a bunch of blood work done. I haven't been able to find anyone to do that mid-season, so I don't even know how many places I went to get blood work done and see specialists and find out what was wrong. Because I always felt like during outdoors, like, I feel like I'm such a grinder during the week, and a lot of people will tell you that. I'm like, man, I don't get it. I don't feel like I'm out of shape, but when I go to the races, my body's just depleted. Like, I could race around Moto 1, but Moto 2, I'm like, I feel like everything's sucked out of me.
Right.
And we found out, basically from the blood work showing from Paula, or not Paula, but after Southwick, and then putting it all together into the off season, I was extremely low on iron.
Wow. Yeah,
so,
that will do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I was wondering why, like, when I'd ride, I was just puking in my helmet.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, yeah, like at Indy, I was just puking everywhere, and I, like, blew up my goggles. I was like, yeah, I'm going to pull off. I don't feel too good. And, yeah, no, I just finally found out everything, and, you know, it made me feel a lot better knowing that's what it was, just a simple fix.
Right.
And, you know, I took the supplements, did everything, and I even started just taking iron just to see if that was it, because Alex Martin has been helping me out, and yeah, I definitely could tell it was helping me a lot. Yeah. And to find out that's actually what it was, yeah, I actually feel a lot better. I'm able to train even harder now and just do more things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, one of the things Heavy D knows, a couple weeks ago, I had one of the scariest moments of my life, which I really won't get into, but one of the problems was I had really, really low B12 and, you know, a couple of other ones that you really just don't even think about, right? Like, there's just some of these small things that could really do a lot of a lot of damage and can kind of hurt you going down the line. So, no, it's really good that, and I know that that's got to be for a racer, right? We know that this sport is physical. Everybody knows that. But the mental side as well, like having that in the back of your mind would not be good moving forward. So having that out of the way, get you a peace of mind, will have you set straight, you know, moving forward.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I know I had the issues with getting sick in 21 on the first year with the team, and then I think my second year with PC, I mean, I had Epstein-Barr, so I was like, is it Epstein-Barr? Did I get a cold, or what did I get? Like, because I've had pneumonia before, and, you know, I could barely even ride with that. So a bunch of things were just run through my mind, and definitely mentally, I think I just wore myself out during outdoors, just wondering what the hell it was. And finally figuring it out, it definitely, like, calmed my head down. I was like, wow, okay, that's all it was? Yeah, all right, sweet, let's get back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the same thing for me. You know, when I figured it out exactly what it was, it gave me that peace of mind. And I can completely understand coming from your point, and also my racing background as well. And it's cool. Blue Crew, obviously, you know, the best bike all the way around for the top athletes and a lot of amateurs. Obviously, nowadays I'm an RM Army guy, so we're a little different. We're just gonna kick it next to your button. But the 23, did you ride the 250?
I didn't. We didn't get to that chance yet. We're just on the 250 still. We're actually going to get the 23s, I want to say, pretty soon, maybe the week or two after. But yeah, we're still riding on our 22s. But yeah, that's about it.
Oh, okay, cool. And you got Jeremy Martin that made his way over the club. How has that been? I know you haven't been there in a little bit. But what is it like having Jerma, obviously a champion, come over to ClubMX, and how much has that helped ClubMX?
Honestly, it's helped me a lot. Obviously, you can see with new sponsors and certain people coming over because of him. It's helped the team and me a lot, I feel like.
Absolutely.
With me though, I've had some hard times dealing with guys. I think as a young kid, just not wanting to be beat was really hard for me, and just knowing that we were going to have a guy that was my speed, if not better, I feel like was a big learning experience for me, just because I have been beat a lot these past couple of years, and I just wanted to get back to that winning stage of things like I was as an amateur and back to Daytona. Right. And I know our first week together was just super cool. We didn't really do any sprints, but it's just motoing and doing technique motos. And it was funny because our coach would just be like, "Hey, do be on the pegs and this and that, and just ride at not 60, but probably 70-80%." And me and him are doing our drills, but we're still hammering out at 100%, and we're just gassed after motos. It was pretty funny. And when he'd pass me or I'd pass him, we definitely help each other, which I've never done with other guys. And if I seen something in one section, I was catching him, I would tell him, and vice versa. He could do the same for me. So those first 3.5, 4 weeks I was back riding, we were just getting along super well, helping each other out. And it just seemed like every day we were cutting times, rolling our times every day just because of little things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's awesome. And honestly, when I saw the move, I said, "Man, this is going to help Garrett out a lot." I feel like, because like you were talking about, and no offense to other the other riders that are at club, but Garrett needed somebody that was a little bit ahead of him to kind of push him during the week, because I'm sure it's got to be hard, that. Like I said, no offense to the other riders, but you're the fastest one out there, right? And so you're just learning by yourself almost, right? But if you have Jerma in front of you and that he's got better lines or a better technique through a section or something like that, you can learn and pace yourself off of him. So I can only imagine that that's helped you just in that little bit of time. And you guys, he's going to be there for quite a while. It seems like that's where he wants to reside for his career, and kind of move from there. So no, that's awesome, and I know you guys will get along quite well, really well, because I know you and Troll did. So no, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Like I said, yeah, the other guys were great. They helped me, stay on my toes a little bit, but definitely there were some days where it was like, man, am I going fast enough? Am I doing the right stuff? And there's definitely those days that, it runs through your mind, like how fast is, one guy's going versus others at the other test tracks. And just to have him there, keep you on your toes at all times, every day through the week, it was definitely helpful, and he definitely said the same thing. And, it was definitely a bummer when I got hurt, just knowing, I hope he stays on the same pace that we were at. And, yeah, I just can't wait to get back on the bike and start riding with him and Phil and Enzo. Absolutely.
And I've been seeing the not the hate, I would say, but the discussion online of people saying that, this can't keep happening with bikes being, malfunction and getting riders hurt and stuff. Dude, it's a sport. Everybody's trying to up their game, and it's not anybody's fault. No mechanic goes to Garrett March, to your bike and says, "I'm going to mess with this so that he gets hurt," or Brandon Haas or any of the guys at ClubMX. They don't want that to happen, and I can't believe that people are going that far out. I know you're not as on social media as I think a lot of the other people are racers, but. Man, I think that's crazy that people are just throwing ClubMX underneath the bus for what happened, because we know that Jeremy got hurt there for a little bit. So they're almost throwing him underneath the bus, and I don't think that's very fair. And I know that you're part of the program, obviously, and it's nobody's fault, man. It happens.
Yeah, you can't really blame anyone. It wasn't one person's fault or anyone's. It happens. It's happened to a bunch of big teams now. Back when they were small teams, it's all part of the growing process. So, yeah. I mean, nowadays our bikes are getting so fast; they're just kind of like ticking time bombs. You never know what's going to happen to them. So,
right.
Especially in practice, how hard we're pushing our bikes and riding them day in, day out, and yeah, it is what it is. It sucks that happened to me and Mumford, and especially Heart Raft.
Yeah.
I feel terrible for those guys. And yeah, like I said, it happens. It's just a crazy fluke. I hope it doesn't happen to us or any other team, because you definitely hate seeing injuries, especially like Heart Raft. I feel bad for him, especially being super close to him. So I hope he gets better soon. But yeah, like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have actually two more questions. 2023 Super Motocross. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't like it because it bothers my hunting season. But personally, I'm not a huge fan. But I mean, it is cool. You go out of the country. There's more racing. It's kind of something that's all year. But all racers, I think, personally need a break.
Yeah.
I don't know about the racing. I don't know what it is, 10, 11 months out of the year. You look at every other sport, they only go about 5 to 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Like football or anything like that. But I think it's cool. More racing, more opportunity for us guys. Maybe some of the guys that didn't podium or do as well during the season that are, maybe that got injured, can go race that and make their money back.
Right.
I think that's what's cool about it.
More purse for you guys. Each race, so that helps out as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely think that's cool. Yeah, I just hope they make the series a little better. More organized instead of just we're racing all Supercross, all outdoors, and then we're just adding more stuff. And then more World Supercross. So
yeah,
hopefully they get something figured out to where it's more organized and scheduled.
Yeah. If you had the opportunity, would you go and race the World Supercross? Would you travel the world and go and race your dirt bike?
I think I would. I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, it's just hard to say. Like I said, some guys would love to do that. Some guys, like us on a team that are, I think with me being hurt, getting some extra racing at the end of the year, I wouldn't mind it. But guys that are, say, racing all 17 rounds of Supercross, and then all of outdoors, I think at that time of the year, they all just want that, month break just to relax, reset the button, and go back to it.
Right. Yeah, because I know that there was a lot of team managers did not want any more races, and then when this 31 race from 29 went to 31 to add 3 more races, whatever it may be, seems like the team owners were all in on it. I don't know if it's just because they had Peacock, more money, all of this good stuff, but I could have sworn that for years and years and years I heard that a lot of people wanted to take out some races, so you guys had a little bit more downtime and kind of stop racing for a little bit to kind of save your body, kind of regenerate the batteries and all of that good stuff. So it's definitely weird. It's good that you guys are getting extra money and it's getting out there more. That's what we want as dirt bike fans and enthusiasts, right? Even if you're a professional racer, I know you're a fan of the sport, so we want to see this sport grow and elevate. But man, 31 races a year, man, it's definitely gonna be tough, especially for those 450 riders that do every single race. And man, hopefully there's no injuries. With so many races, that's just more prone for riders to get injured. Unfortunately, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope not.
For sure. And one more question: is it as you were talking about earlier with your local racing or not your local racing, but your amateur racing back in the day, and then coming to the pro ranks and not winning? How hard actually is that?
I think for me, I don't know. Like there was a lot of kids that maybe won more, but I mean, I feel like my whole amateur career was a lot of winning. You felt like you're the Carmichael or the Stewart of my era of in the amateurs. That's how I felt, winning all that. And then, I want to say before I went pro, I won all my amateur races and then jumped into the pros, and I wasn't even close to the podium. And I remember just riding out there. I was like, man, I'm not even close to these guys. These guys are crushing me. Yeah. But as a rookie, you can't really set your bar too high. Some guys naturally just jump into it and, podium races. Some guys, it takes a year or two. And, for me, I struggled not so much my rookie year of outdoors, but my rookie year of Supercross. I couldn't figure out the whoops. Just crashes and dumb little mistakes I kept making, and I kept getting hurt. And that definitely was super hard for me. And going into year two, just, kind of just resetting the button. Like I said, I took that off season, went back home, chilled out, and was just like, man, I just want to go all in and just do everything perfect. Like whatever I was doing wrong, I want to fix. And I remember went in the office and did everything, and I just felt like it was back to almost my winning way. Finishing close to the podium, back to I won Daytona. I was on the box in Salt Lake, and I was just like, man, this is what it felt like back as a kid, and this is what I love so much. And then just getting hurt with the knee, blowing my knee out, and then losing my job over there at Cowie and stuff like that. It was super hard because you felt like you were never going to lose that spot, just being over there for 9 years. Right. And then it was kind of like it was like a reset on everything, your career, and just going to the club and, rehabbing the knee and just going back into it. I was like, man, do I still have what the speed-wise, do I still have certain things? And to go back out at Orlando that weekend, the podium, it was like, okay, you still have it. Sweet.
Right.
And I haven't gotten a podium then. I was so dang close last year. I should have.
Yeah,
but,
there was plenty of opportunities where you were close.
Yeah. And sadly with that one, same thing. I hate excuses, but I had COVID at Oakland. That definitely just destroyed my body for like 4 rounds until I would say the heat race when I finally felt 100% again.
Yeah.
And it definitely is hard on someone mentally when you go from, a dominant amateur to, not winning in the pros. And you see a lot of guys do that. And I think you just got to keep hammering away and just, you see a lot of guys make fun of it, but just trust in the process. I mean, honestly, just keep doing the stuff. If you're a 5th place guy that day, you're 5th place. And if you're a podium guy that day, well, you go for it and you get on the box. And,
absolutely.
That was definitely a good advice. What I remember Ivan Tedesco taught me was, if you feel like you're a podium guy that day, well, go for it. Go for that win or on the box. And if not, do your best to get back in that top 5 or 4th position.
Yeah. Try to minimize all of the bad things, and like IT said, if you don't have it in you, then try to at least do the best that you can and try to stay there and not fall on the ground or make just dumb mistakes, right? Or don't go for something that is going to cause you to have those mistakes. Absolutely. I have Heavy D. Did you have a question for Garrett here?
Yeah, I just got 2.
Okay. Garrett, you still got time?
Oh, no, not at all. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I have plenty of time.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
First one. So, I know you had a lot of sicknesses and stuff going on, and of course, everybody knows you grind through the week. That's just how it is. Do you feel like, how can I put this? It takes, I feel like when you go to the race, especially outdoors, those 2 30-minute motos take so much out of you. Do you feel like during the week you really couldn't tell because your recovery process, because everybody knows, Club, you guys are big on recovery after motos that day. Do you feel it may have took a toll on you because y'all can't recover primarily as good at the track as you can at the facility?
Honestly, I feel like, I don't know, this is just me personally. Felt like when we would do 230s on, say, Tuesday or Wednesday, because we rode twice a week. But technically, if you ride Wednesday, you only get Thursday to recover because you're flying all day Friday and your body's just worked up, right? So I think for me, when we were doing our 30s, everyone else would kind of back it down, ride at 75, 80% and just kind of do their motos and, go home. And me, I felt like personally I had to grind and be like, no, I got to beat my track record by 2 or 3 seconds. And so for me on my 230s, I would go so hard on Tuesday, Wednesday, I was just gassed. So by the time Thursday came, I was just, exhausted. I still feel like I wasn't recovered. Then I was flying, and then my body's not getting hardly any recovery. And then by Saturday, your battery on your body's probably only 50%. So after practice and your first moto, you're already at empty. So I feel like that was my fault this past year, was just hammering so much on the 450 because I missed so much time from the shoulder injury. And I felt like I had to catch up when I should have just, relied on my practice and my learning from the races and then just, doing your motos and heading home afterwards after practice instead of, hammering and hammering and hammering out.
Right.
Oh, right. I get that. Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, everybody knows a lot of work gets put in, and it's like you say, I know, like you were like hella dominant in amateur ranks. Like everybody knows that. So like, honestly, for me, I can see where you're coming from. Like going from, like you say, going from the amateur rank, going to the pros and wanting to keep those winning ways. And like, it's crazy how much things change from amateurs to pros. And it's like, it's so many different ways that, you could figure it out, or some guys have to figure it out just to go win. So for you, it's like, all right, grind. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I get that. Like, you putting your body through a lot through the week. Like, even if you do get those 2 days off, like you say, you're still flying the races. Like, your body's still gassed regardless. So, and being sick does not help. So I get that 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I agree. It's just funny. I look back at it because, my rookie season was, it's just funny because I always looked at my first motos I always thought I could maybe get a moto win or a podium in Moto 1, but my Moto 2s were always almost better as an amateur because I wasn't riding as hard back then, I felt like, and now I'm riding just as hard. And it's almost like sometimes you got to look at back, even as a kid or your rookie season, what you did and what made you a little bit better that year than it did, in your older years. So that's definitely something I looked at and just like, you only rode twice a week then, but you're doing things totally different. So,
yeah.
Right. So like when you came in, did you, like when you first went to PC, did your program change as far as like going from amateurs to pros, like right away, or did you kind of like stick to that same ordeal?
I kept it pretty similar. I look back at it now, I did everything pretty simple. Like, I just draw my little hour bike rides after practice or a light core workout to where now I was, even on my days off, I was hammering an hour and a half to 2 hour bike rides. And some people might be like, oh, that's not a lot. But sometimes, like, when you're hammering 430s or however many motos we're doing, plus sprints, plus the heat. The heat back east, I feel like personally wears me out way more than the California heat.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah,
I felt like then as a kid, I was 16 when I went pro. I was so young, so I feel like I still had a lot of kid energy in me. And I just felt like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just felt like less was better for me instead of when I got older, it felt like maybe I had to do more, and almost more is worse for me than less, if that makes sense.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I
Do you ever get an itch like during the off season, maybe like after you take the break or whatever it may be, Garrett? Do you ever think about going to any of the local races, or are you guys kind of stuck there? Because that's one of the things that we talk about here on the Imperative MX podcast is that we we want to see, a Garrett Marchbanks, a Jeremy Martin, a Daxton Bennick. We want some of these guys to come out to some of these local races, kind of like what Cooper Webb did this summer. Whenever you guys have time off, do you ever think about that?
Oh, for sure, all the time. I mean, probably not the local races, the arena crosses back east. I mean, I did those, and I feel like every time I did them, I got in a fight or some type of argument. But
yeah.
everyone's so dang redneck or wants to kill you out there. Like, I like my ankles and knees. I'm good. But
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the West Coast where I'm from, everyone's like, oh, okay, like big name guys here, like they'll still hammer you. They'll ride aggressive, but they're not going to kill you. But definitely back here where I'm from, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming area, like I've had plenty of people hit me up to go do it, and I actually thought about doing one this year. They had a pretty big purse at one of the Wyoming races, but it's definitely one of those things in a contract that teams say, like, if you get hurt at one of those, it's kind of like you have repercussions about it, and so a lot of guys, why they don't do it is just because they're pretty nervous on those type of things. Like why blow your career on a $900 pro purse instead of 40,000, 50,000 at a big race? That's kind of how we have to look at it.
Absolutely, and I mean that's what me and Heavy D think about as well. It would be awesome just for the fans and the enthusiasts of the sport to see some of you guys come out to some of the local North Carolina, South Carolina racetracks and race just on a local weekend and do that just to come out for the fans and stuff. But I completely get it from a business standpoint. You guys are what runs what gets you guys the sponsorships and what gets you guys the motorcycles and all of this good stuff. So it's hope to see that they may lighten it up over the future. Maybe just to show up and do a practice day or something like that. Just to get you guys kind of outside of the training facilities a little bit. I think that would be cool just for myself, just being a fan of you and other multiple riders, right? And fans and all of that. I think it would be really cool. But man, Garrett, I really do appreciate you doing this and calling in onto the Imperative MX podcast, and we had a really good talk, and hope the injury goes well, the process and all of that, and look forward to seeing you out back on the bike at ClubMX MUC-OFF FXR Racing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Have me on whenever. I think I've got a lot of time on my hands, so call whenever.
Oh, cool deal, man. We may actually end up doing that, but no, it's awesome, man. Thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you soon, bud.
All right, sounds great. You guys have a great night. Happy holidays.
Yep, you as well.
All right, thanks. See you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.